Good evening, sisters. Hi, it's Dee from H&D Abroad. I am so happy to be a little better. As you all can hear, my voice is getting a little better each time we go live. Um, I want to say hello to my sister Arnell. She may not know, but I shouted her out last week when I was talking. Um, about sisterhood. So I want to thank her for joining today. I want to thank LD for joining today as well, and for you, especially those who are joining on the replay. We don't ever forget friends that join as part of our hashtag replay gang. Um, this channel is all about creating a community for those of us who are centering joy and self-determination as part of a overall strategy for giving birth to the things that time has tried to hold us back from. But we know better. We know better in this community that there's no time like the present to identify our dreams, create and create a path toward them. So, um, my husband Herman, it's usually with me on our regular broadcast, but Thursday nights is my time to talk to the sisters. Um, and so that is what I'm doing tonight. H&D Abroad is all about our move from the US to um, bopping around the world or finding a new place. We haven't decided. We're just in preparation mode. We are doing something every day that moves us closer to that, and want to encourage you to be doing the same. We invite community members to join us in some of our lives because they are sharing their own journey. We are sharing our research like we did this past Saturday about the power of residency and the new opportunity through visas that allow you to be in a place and do the things that you need to do, like work. And then we're also just giving thought to what is possible for those who are married, for those who are 50 plus, for those who have adult children, and you're beginning to make some decisions that look a little different from friends, colleagues, even parents, what your parents have done before. So tonight, I thought we are preparing for our next house sit. So why not talk about house sitting and how now is the best time to start? If you are new to what is house sitting is usually formal and informal ways people are exchanging, um, taking care of a pet, um, maintaining a home, uh, as in you are making sure that the house is clean behind yourself. You're making sure that that the home appears lived in from the perspective of neighbors or passersby, that you're really taking care of outdoor plants for the safety and upkeep as requested by the homeowner, in exchange for free accommodations. So my journey of house sitting is through trusted house sitters There is a link and a discount code in the description of this video. Um, it is a way to search all over the world for house sits. People are uploading available dates, everything from I need a house sitter for 1 or 2 days to I need a house sitter for 4 to 6 months. And so that is a great way to identify a place that you would like to visit. Um, and if it is a match for you and the responsibilities that the homeowner would like for you to fulfill while they are away, then you are a match for submitting um, the required, the, what do you call that? You can apply for the house sit. Most of us have a pre-prepared letter that introduces ourselves, that also shares um, our availability, and any requirements that we want to make sure that the homeowner knows about us up front. Like sometimes I travel with my spouse, sometimes I travel alone. And so I let the homeowner know if there's something different. And so now is the best time to um, not only think, I would love to travel, but if you would like to either know what a place feels like because you're staying in a home and not a hotel, if you're scouting different places, um, or if you would like to reduce the expenses for a house sit. Um, many of us are traveling on a budget, especially if we are. Most of our money is being saved for our move abroad. Good evening, Nikki. So house sitting is fitting into our budget, helps travel to continue to be a part of an affordable way to get away, for self-care, um, to continue to, what do you call that, scratch that adventure itch that a lot of us still have or want to get practice while we're in the US, for what is it like to be in a new place and figure things out, like where is the grocery store? Are there restaurants around? And so I have an entire playlist that is in the description for the conversations that we've had about house sitting. Nikki is in Mexico. And so even though we have not done a house sit yet in Mexico, there are a lot of house sits there. There are other ways that you can find house sits. Trusted House Sitters is an unpaid house sit, but there are lots of people talking about how they are getting paid house sits. So someone that comes in and you negotiate a fee for taking care of the responsibilities of the home. Lots of people are doing that. If you have not seen the stories about six-figure dog walkers, I'm telling you, this is a way. Get your practice, understand what you have to offer, understand better what a host is looking for, so that if you decide that this is the entrepreneurial path that I want to take for either earning a little bit of extra cash, or this is how I'm going to fund my life abroad, I think house sitting is a great way to do that. So, okay. So, since the house sit is unpaid, can you share the benefits or opportunities available with house sitting? So, I actually like that it is unpaid. I mean, I think, you know, For me, as a first-time house sitter, so we have been house sitting for almost a year. So I started June of 2023. And so using a unpaid source like Trusted House Sitters really helped me to not feel like, would I be what do you call that? Outpricing myself. Either not asking for enough money or not, or asking for too much. So um, that is one advantage that I can see that having starting out as an unpaid house sitter, kind of getting my skills up, getting reviews. That is another opportunity. So you'll now have references that you can point to, either as a part of the Trusted House Sitter network. There are other house sitting platforms, but that's the one that we're using right now. I've seen that others that have that do paid house sitting will point people to their referrals, and so I think that is a huge advantage for having taking advantage of house sitting as an unpaid person. But what I also like is that the way that we are leveraging house sitting is I'm choosing to go to places where I know I can get a airline ticket that is relatively low. And so all of the house sits that I've done so far, the travel one way has been less than $100. So I have gone almost all the way to California for less than $100 using a regional carrier. And that's been what the win has been. We're actually going to drive to our house sit because I can take items that would require me to check a piece of luggage. I The advantage or the benefit for me for driving is that we can also stop along the way in some places to just do some more sightseeing. So I love that the having an unpaid house sit, so I have free accommodation, that I'm also, strategizing how else I can keep my expenses low. So those are some of the ways that we're doing that. The benefit that I see also with house sitting is I'm getting a chance to visit places that I would normally have to, pay for everything. So a part of the motivation for doing it, what got me off the sofa and in the app, was that I wanted to go see family members before we left. So I was able to spend a significant amount of time with my family that is on the West Coast. I'm going back again this summer to see some other family members because my great aunts are now in their 70s, mid and late 70s. And so I want to just take time, do some videoing and recording. And house sitting is giving me a way to do that in a few cities. And which, it, hey, if I can have a remote job, one leverage, and I can get there for only a small amount of money, an additional leverage. I can spend more time there as a house sitter than I could if I were paying for it all out of pocket. And I'm comparing what it cost to take our family to California in 2021. Um, and we got an Airbnb for a week, had to pay for food, even though we were cooking, and I'm just seeing how much better this trip is going to be for me because I'm house sitting. So um, I've also, as a part of house sitting, it's also helped me to meet other people. So I've talked on this channel about uh, my friendship journey. And house sitting is a way, a new niche. When I introduce myself and I say I'm a house sitter, I'm actually finding other people who are doing it, have done it in the past, and it's a really unique way to connect with a new community, and like a whole new set of friends have opened up to me. So yeah, I agree, Nikki. House sitting is definitely giving me a chance to do a lot more sightseeing. Um, so and ways to sightsee. So this summer, I'm going to go to California, and between the places that I'll be house sitting, I'll be taking a train. So like, y'all, like, I never would have done that if it hadn't been for another house sitter saying, "Hey, when you do this, this is something that I leveraged, and it was a light bulb moment." And so, and then, if you want to know, how are people living in, these beautiful places with, this, ocean views or penthouse, what would it be like to do that? Like you can try on different lifestyles. That has been another opportunity that I've had with house sitting. Um, house, this my house sit in Colorado was beautiful because I was in walking distance of a um, of a natural landmark, and I could go every single day, and I did. I was just like, if I'm going to be here every day, like when I was in Florida and I was at the beach, I was like, I'm walking to the beach every single day. It's actually, Nikki and I met when I was doing that, and I shared my beach view with her. That was so much fun. Um, and so, it's, I think also being a house sitter is a great conversation starter. Um, there aren't, uh, there are circles where house sitting is very normal, but I heard Stephanie Perry, she was on the yacht, and people were asking, what does she do? And she said, I'm a professional house sitter. And the number of people that she said that, like, "What? Like, what is that? What do you do?" And they were like, by the time that they were done, she was saying, y you know, "Here's my information." So, yeah, you could have a business card. You sure could. I know a couple of sisters. Diamond does it. She shares her business card, that has a QR code for um, how to schedule a consultation with her about someone's that wants her to house sit for them. Like those things were just like that is what you learn. Like when you want to step up your house sitting game, when you want to present yourself well, a business card is definitely a great way to do that. So people have asked, if I've been sitting on the fence, I've heard about house sitting. I have, I'm really excited when you all share photos, when you talk about all the beautiful places that you've been, all the beautiful things you've been able to see or do or have access to because you are a house sitter. Like, what do you do? Like, what are the steps? So I think Choosing a platform is important, and there are a lot of them out there. When you are some of the platforms will allow you to see what house sits are available. Will there be house sits in places that you want to be? So, Trusted House Sitters is headquartered in the UK. So, they have established a very strong base there, and there are a lot of house sits there. Whether that is in the wintertime, which that's not for me. I don't want a house sit where there's cold or rain or fog. A lot of the wintertime, that is the weather there. But there are a lot of people who have long house sits that are in the UK. So um, if you're looking for a way, especially if you're moving abroad or you're wanting to plan a career break, having a long house sit in a place that is adjacent to or gives you access to some places is a great way to do that. And so there are a lot of house sits, but the number of house sits in the UK is the largest on the platform. So you want to think about, hey, is this platform giving me access to places that I want to be? And then then you most of them have a fee that you pay. I know Trusted House Sitters has a couple of different levels. So um, you can get the base rate, which that's what's in my link, that has the discount code. The elevated plan also gives an insurance reimbursement, because one of the questions people have is, what happens if the host gets sick and they have to cancel? And I have flown all the way to Australia. What do I do? And so that is not uncommon. And so, depending on your plan, you have a reimbursement. Um, and I don't want to go into those details because I want this to be an evergreen video, but that is definitely one of the benefits of the premium plan for Trusted House Sitters, is you can get reimbursed. And one of the ladies that we've had on our channel before, Yolanda, that's exactly what happened to her. Is she was house sitting, got there, and the couple was sick, and so she was able to get reimbursed um, just over $100 per day for a certain amount of days, because the host had to cancel. And that's just one cost savings. Um, what is my plan if the house sit falls through? Um, but if you are doing if you are a new house sitter, hey, Word Up Psychotherapy. If you are new to house sitting, one great way to start house sitting is in your own city. So if you are in Washington, D.C., or Florida, or California, um, let's see, where are some other places that I've seen a lot? Colorado, Texas. These are places that I've seen a lot of house sits. And so you'll probably be able to find somewhere that's a couple of days, that you could um, so yes, in your own city. um, so you're familiar with the area, like you don't. It's the shortcut. You don't have to get to know a place. You can take your own car. So there's not a huge financial investment or time investment. And Even though my city doesn't have a lot of house sits, I have tried to apply locally. And I think for some places, that's actually an advantage that you could be a local house sitter, because this is something else I've noticed. The benefit is the homeowner may ask you to come again because you are closer. And I've noticed that has happened in a lot of places. Georgia has a lot of house sits too, now that I'm thinking about it. As you are looking at what is available, thinking about where you might want to go first, you do, after you purchase whatever plan fits best for you, the next step is to complete your profile. So, as a house sitter, you need to upload photos of yourself. And I usually put information or share information visually, like I might bring my family or my spouse, um, or I've had a pet, or I have had experiences as a pet sitter. So I would have photos of myself and other pets, um, and so that is one way to share with the host will review when they're looking at your profile. You'll need to write a brief description, so kind of the anatomy of what my little introduction is hello. Even when I was new, I was like, I'm new to Trusted House Sitters, but here you can look at a review. I have been a house sitter or pet sitter with a friend or neighbor, and here are some of the requirements that I have. I work remote, so I need a strong internet, but I'm available. And so, during the dates that you have, or if I'm not, giving that information as well, especially for a house sitter that might have had their house sit posted for a while, they might be open to having someone do a part of the time that they need if they can't find someone to do the entire house sit. So that's another kind of cheat sheet strategy for house sitting. So, oh yes, yeah, some house sitters, as long as you have a photo of your pet and kind of give a description of, hey, my pets are easygoing, they've been around other pets. May I? And I'm saying that with permission. May I bring my pet? So thank you, Lori. Yeah, uh, a lot of house sitters will invite you to bring your pet. So definitely, yes. Word Up Psychotherapy. There are a lot of great house sits in DC. So yeah, I just say giving giving your giving yourself enough time. This is a good time to have your profile ready, because once you have completed the information, uploaded the all of the required information, you do, as a house sitter, have to go through a background check. You cannot apply for a house sit without having completed all of those items. If you'll also need to have someone to give you a written reference. What they'll do is they will give you a link to share, or they'll have you give the email, and then that email will push out the form for someone to complete, that you choose to complete a referral or provide a reference for you. So just do a little coaching, because what they say matters. Things like, you are clean, that you have experience keeping a home or pet sitting. Sometimes it's helpful if you have. Usually, it's only one that they ask for, but if you have had the opportunity to pet sit for a dog or a cat or fish, have them name that in as a part of your reference. But make sure you've got enough time. I think it was maybe 3 or 4 days last year when how long it took for us to kind of um, complete the profile, get the request the reference, have the reference come back, and then complete the background check. And then when your profile is ready, they let you know, that you are eligible to now apply for house sits. Don't count yourself out if you are a new house sitter. Everyone starts as a new house sitter, which means you'll probably have to apply for a few house sits your first um, before you get your first house sitting confirmation. So I loved just looking. I loved looking for, um, using what do you call that? The filter feature. Um, when you have time, like I know I'm going to travel in June, I want to spend a part of my time in my place house sitting. You've got some time. It's a few months before the summer starts. So it- since now is the best time because of the number of house sitting opportunities grows as we get into summer. People will do I'm trying to remember what's the label that they give. Last minute. Last minute house sits are great for local house sitters. If you're in a place and hey, I've booked 2 weeks, but I'm really going to be in a place a month, then now you've got some extra time and you're able to say, I've already got some house sits planned, but I see you have a last minute house sit. House sitter, house trusted house sitters only allows you to book times that if you have one house sit, it will not allow you to overlap that time. But if you have available time, um, a lot of people are using house sitting instead of having their own home. They are always looking for house sits. I had a friend, and Arnell knows who I'm talking about. She literally went up the East Coast with her son last summer by just bookending house sits. So, oh, hey, yes, Rocco is such a sweetheart as we're getting to know him. And so yes, uh, every time I tune in, I end with a download of joyfulness. I'm so glad. House sitting really is. I mean, when you talk about the opportunity, oh my goodness, I think I miss our dog. Our dog's name was Miko, and I really miss Miko. I miss that she was my take me outside right now. I need a walk. I need a good walk. And she was like literally my road dog. We could do a few miles and she would just hang in with me. If I wanted to walk or jog or skip, she really encouraged me to be active. And since we lost her in 2021, um, I didn't realize I missed that. Um, uh, Pets are funny. I mean, when I say funny, like real funny, and have just brought a lot of joy and laughter unexpectedly back into my life. I think it's also made me um, it's also the house sitting experience is fitting very nicely into the move abroad, because it's helping me to see, um, and have different ways I'm turning. How could I turn my life? How could I use this kind of opportunity to stretch my money? How could I use the house sitting experience to get to know a place? Because a hotel really doesn't do that for me, but I could be in someone's home. Um, and so some of the questions that house sitters ask when they're new, especially if this may be your first time, is, you know, you know, what are some questions I should be asking? So I'll give you my top questions to ask. So I always ask, because I am a remote worker, please go to speedtest.net on your home computer. I've had some people do the speed test on their cell phone. That's not, I don't remote work on my cell phone. I do. And so you want to make sure your download and upload speeds are within a healthy range. Um, because we also go live. I have a lot of video conferences that I do for work, and so a house sit would never work for me if I could not work. Because most of the time I'm doing it while I'm not on vacation. So, what is your internet speed? Um, is there public transportation nearby? So most of the house sits that I do, I fly, or if I drive, I'm probably taking a rental car or something like that. And so I know a skill that I'm going to need to have in for moving abroad is, or in my travels, is the use of public transportation, train, bus, subway. And so I want to know how easy it is to access. Um, Another question that I ask is, do you have a welcome guide? A welcome guide tells me exactly what I need to be doing every day. So whether that is getting the mail, bringing the mail in every day, if that is watering plants, if that is, oh goodness, I've done gardening. Y'all know how much I love love my plants, my outdoor plants as well. And so, how often should I do that? And uh, how have they been maintaining the plant so that I'm doing it in the same way or at the same time? So that there's no interruption to that habit. When I pet sit, literally, when do they get treats? When do they go? How many walks do they take? Am I required to provide medication? Um, what happens if the dog is needs medical assistance, or I have a medical um, inquiry? Where is the veterinarian? So those are some of the questions that I ask up front. I also ask, where will I sleep? So you can request a video tour, especially if you have been confirmed. A lot of the host will do kind of a walking tour, so that you can kind of see, these are the kinds of plants I'll be taking care of. This is the space that I'll sleep. But you're also looking for how are they keeping the house up, and so if those are some of the criteria that you have for, this is a house that I would feel comfortable in. You can have some checklist items for things that you either may want to ask about or that you'll be looking for during that video tour. Um, on the playlist, I've interviewed a group of house sitters, And one of the ladies, uh, Felicia, mentioned something that was new to me, and that was there are people who regularly have their homes cleaned. So you might want to ask, is there anyone that is scheduled to either do maintenance on the property or to come into the home? Because what you don't want is to have someone come in the home unexpected. I had a house sit where the family also had a VRBO, and so they would have as um, people left and new people were coming. They'd have a house cleaner come to clean that part of the property, and she would come into the house. And so I knew when she was coming because it would have been terrifying for her to come in and I wasn't expecting her. Um, some things I think thank you, Word Up Psychotherapy. I really thought about this, wanting to make this a good experience. One of the things that I ask um, for a host is, especially if it's a first time and I've not been there, is can you introduce me to your neighbors? And I'm saying this as a Black person and as a Black woman who does house sitting solo. I would like to know who your neighbors are, just in case I have an emergency, just in case there are questions of uh, if I have permission to be in the space. And so those those um, those neighbors have come in handy. So if you have not seen on Instagram, I was greeted one Saturday morning by a bear in the front yard. I was very thankful that the homeowners told me that, deer and bear and other wildlife were freely roamed their property and their neighbors' properties. So when I say I'm looking outside, um, and yes, the bear decided to lean on the birdhouse and push it to the ground. They also told me to be aware of the bear because the bears I would need to make sure that I close the trash can because the bears will push it over and then trash would be everywhere. Or that could cause additional problems because the bears might come back because they would be looking for food. So just so thankful when hosts think about, hey, this is normal for me, but it might not be normal for someone who is new to our property. I've had nothing but good experiences, and we have had nothing but 5-star ratings as a part of our reviews, and we've been asked to come back. And so I'm so excited that I have taken the chance that my husband has gone. He's gonna go with me again. I was gonna try to go by myself, but y'all, he was like, "You're not going and not taking me with you." So we're gonna be doing a house sit together, and so it's really been eye opening to me. Um, that I can be a tourist where I live. I can be a tourist right here in my own city, in places that I've lived before. I've lived in DC before. I've visited Colorado before, but this is house sitting was a completely different experience. And I've been able to see communities and understand the importance of making connections and making new friends. And it is so fun to be able to sit with the homeowners. They're like, "Oh man, we're not going to be able to see you because we're needing to leave earlier, but we look forward to seeing you when we get back." Those are the kinds of things that are just the unexpected bonus of house sitting, is really getting to know people, that are our host, also meeting other house sitters, and that my friend circle is growing in an unexpected way, and taking me to lots of new places. So I'm hoping this is the year, not just hoping, I am planning, I am setting my filters for doing our first international house sit when we go to Europe this fall. That is our plan. That is what we are lining up. And so we're doing more house sits in the US to kind of boost the number of reviews. So when I say the best time to start is now, because summertime, I believe we are back to full-time travel as we knew it before the pandemonium. And uh, lots of people are learning about the opportunity for house sitting. And so new homes are being added to the website. So that means lots of opportunities are out there. If you don't get um, your first house sit, try again. Apply for several of them at once. And when I say several of them at once, if you've got a time frame and you've got several places that you're looking at, go ahead and apply for more than one, because if you don't get one, then you've got another that is your backup. So I'm hoping that these are strategies you can use if you are a new house sitter. So great question. Thank you. So yourself. So what websites or apps do I use right now? I am using Trusted House Sitters. I have a link in the description. The discount that you get by using that link gives you 25% off the 1 year membership. I think it's a great way, because not only am I given a background check, the homeowners also complete a background check. So going through um, a more structured program before kind of getting into some of the informal house sitting that's happening through other social media and other websites, I think is important. So Trusted House Sitters is who we use. And I'm hoping that if you have questions, or you have more questions, hey, I'm a new house sitter, but I didn't hear you talk about X, Y, or Z. I've got consult time just for house sitting. So if you want to ask or pick my brain about house sitting, you can use the consult link below. And we will be posting more content from the places that we're visiting because of house sitting that we're traveling to. So y'all, there's gonna be lots more on the road travel content from H&D this summer. So I hope that this has been helpful. Thank you all so much for joining. Please remember to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell. I am live on Thursdays. We are live every Saturday. And I'm trying to get H to go back live. He's been lining up some great stuff for the month of April for Man Monday. So we hope to see you again soon. Bye for now.